All right, looks like we're live for my Sunday review session here. Um, I try to do this every Sunday. I've been doing okay so far. I've just been doing it since the beginning of September. I missed 1 week, but that's okay, not a big deal. Um, and I just talk about the books I read and the things I'm going to read. Hopefully, I'll read a lot this coming week, so I'm looking forward to that. So let's get into the reviews. If you join in the chat, go ahead and put what you read and why you liked it or didn't like it. I'm going to put that in chat. Please review whatever you read in chat, and I'll say it out. So I know that I should be better at getting these things ready and promoting them. I'm just not quite there yet. I'm still trying to figure out the time management aspect of it. Um, I always want to put my emphasis and my energy and my time towards actually reading. So I always run into a wall every time I end up putting a lot of effort and work into actually reviewing and doing the booktube thing. I know that's silly, and I know that if I put in a lot of effort, that I would have so many more views and subscribers. Um, and I used to do that a long time ago, but I prioritize actually reading more now than what I did back then. So, okay. Uh, Great week for me. I am very happy with all that I read, so let's get into it. Let's start first with the short stories that I read from Tor.com this last week that I really enjoyed. I'm doing this hour of short story reading in the morning, and I'm loving it because I got this new program that follows along with the words, and it auto scrolls for me, so I don't even have to touch my computer, and it's really cool. That's only for things that are free online, though. Okay, let's get into it. So let's talk about Ray Naylor's The Job at the End of the World. I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. It is about a resilience worker who goes to different disaster sites and fixes the buildings and helps people recover. And what I liked about this is that, let me turn it, there we go. What I really liked about this is that it talked about peace and calmness in these situations where everything felt like the world was ending. Um, and the idea that it talked about the idea of like waiting until a certain time to have like this tranquil place in this peace. And what we really should be doing is we should be searching for that peace in the storms. Um, it was very good. I really enjoyed it. It made me think a lot. See the next story from Tor.com, The 3 O'Clock Dragon by John Wiswell. So um, a special substance is spilled on a train, and the train turns into a train dragon. And then the train dragon uh, is co-opted into this anti-government, anti-establishment, anti-mayor uh, rally and campaign, and he kind of like joins that. It was really interesting. It was more about uh, going against authoritarianism and standing up for the people that don't have a lot of power in society. I really like this one a lot. Alex Irvine, Form 8774D. A woman works at this like mutant and superpower uh, bureau investigation or whatever, and people have to go in and register their powers. It really reminded me of X-Men. In the X-Men, like registering mutants was this like really horrible thing, and I believe that it is horrible because people shouldn't be have they shouldn't have to register uh, who they are. Um, and anyways, she meets all these different superheroes with powers, and some crazy stuff happens, and it's fabulous, and I liked it a lot. There was a horror story by Priya Sharma called Jack O'Dander, and it is about this really creepy guy and two sisters. One sister disappears, and the other sister has this huge amount of guilt for most of her life because of her maybe it was her younger sister disappearing, and then later on her sister shows back up, and it was creepy. It was a good read. What It Means to Be a Car by James Patrick Kelly. A person goes and visits this place called Small Heaven. At Small Heaven, they try to upload the consciousness of people that have passed away so that they can live on in eternity at this really big resort. But it didn't work out the way they wanted it to. And so this person who is the son of one of those people goes and visits, and he gets into an AI car, and they have this amazing conversation. The Tale of Clancy the Scrivener. I really like this one. It's from Ramsey Shehadeh, and it is about this older man who is uh, he is an archivist, and he is archiving things from like the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. And this is about 100 years from 1984, so it's around 2080, maybe around there. And he's been around for a while. Um, in this world, people started mutating and changing, and the government and the people in charge don't like these people. And he is, you know, just recording what happened in the past, recording the different things in magazines and books and things. But he also has this young woman who he treats as his granddaughter, and it is a story about their relationship and his life living through pain. It was phenomenal. I really like this one a lot. Next was my favorite thing that I read in the last week. It was amazing. Ken Liu is probably top 10, top dozen favorite writer of mine. I don't know. When you love as much as I love in books, I probably have a top 500 authors or top 50, probably more realistic. But he's up there. He's amazing. This was phenomenal. Five-star read. I'm going to be nominating this for all the awards next year. A woman goes out to visit the poet that she really enjoys, their summer home, I believe, and where they wrote a lot of their poems. While she's there, she sees a dragon, an actual dragon, and then the dragon disappears, and she ends up painting a picture of what the landscape looked like after the dragon left. And it is an amazing story about art, criticism, creation criticism, the social media, how we talk about art, how we talk about the artist, how we put our judgments on these artists and these authors. And it was amazing. I just love this so much. And then I read Headhunting by Rich Larson. This is about a private investigator who was hired to retrieve a mummified head that was stolen, and there is this ancient curse with the mummified heads that make people like hallucinate and like change them. It was pretty interesting. Okay, so I also read a nonfiction book on censorship. A public librarian examines cancel culture in the US. Let me turn on this light. Okay. And this was really good. I'm going to read the last paragraph, and you're going to pretty much know what this book is about because of this last paragraph. We may take some comfort in the fact that ultimately censorship is also ineffective. When digital information can be shared instantaneously and globally, the attempt to suppress an idea is doomed. Rather, we need to develop the skills to think critically, to consider the source, to examine the evidence, to weigh its effects, and to contribute to the human conversation with compassion, care, and insight. We learn by thinking, not by denying thought. If censorship is fear, then its opposite is courage. Let us face the world as it is and build a better one. So I think this was a very balanced view on censorship. It looked at censorship from both political sides, which I appreciated. Obviously, it focused a lot more on uh, people on the right trying to challenge books, but there have been challenges from the left as well. And it goes into a lot of detail, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. I love censorship topics, um, information freedom, things like that, and I do want to read more about those things to just be better about it. Yeah. Next, we're going to talk about All Hallows by Christopher Golden. I mostly listen to this on audiobook, but in the last maybe 2 hours, I read the end of it. Um, I have thoughts about this. I thought it could have been a lot better, but I thought it got much better as it went through the book. I think it tried too much to be everything all at once. It tried too much to be a commentary on the 1980s, um, and then just a commentary on a lot of social issues. And there wasn't a whole lot of like horror and suspense at the beginning. So the beginning was like very meh, um, and it wasn't really written all that well. And the way he wrote the social and political ideas, it was very on the nose. Like I don't mind having politics in my book. I don't mind having social issues in my book, but I don't want the author to tell me in a sentence, and this is why this thinking is wrong, or something like that. I want the characters to tell me. I don't want there to be extra sentences, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, I want the story and the characters to show me the social issues that we should care about. We don't need the author to show us, and then after that, explicitly tell us. It's not needed. Um, as while when this book starts to really kick off, is when there's a lot of horror, um, and oh, it's about this street. Um, and this street has a lot of different families on it with, with kids. And every Halloween, one of the families does a haunted forest. But this specific Halloween, there is this being called the Cunning Man out there trying to get people. And there are also three or four really creepy kids dressed in really creepy outfits that are just appearing around the town and talking to the other kids. And it's obvious that they are from another time. And it was creepy. I really enjoyed that part. However, like most horror books, the awfulness of actual people, of the things that actual people do, uh, pales in comparison to the actual horror. So the the actual people and the things that they do is much worse than the made up mythical supernatural horror elements, and that this book showed that. I did enjoy it. However, I would maybe not recommend it. It reminded me a lot of that Trick or Treat movie. So if you like something like this but want something better, watch the movie Trick or Treat. Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is about three sisters and a prince that is horrible to these sisters. The first sister marries the prince, and that sister dies. The second sister marries that prince, and she has a child, but we find out that the prince is physically abusing her. And this is a story about the third sister trying to kill that prince and save her sister. And she uh, has this team of people that help her. Two older women, one's a dust wife and one is her godmother. Both of them have some semblance of magic. And then she has this one guy that's kind of like the muscle of the group that they saved from a goblin market, of course. And it was really well written. I loved the first 7 or 8 chapters, just like learning about the world, learning about the characters. There was a lull in the middle of the book, uh, and I think that this would have been a little bit better if it was shorter, actually. I think it would have been a really good novella if some of the scenes were taken out and the pacing was better. However, it was good and I would recommend it. Next, we have What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. Um, I really like this. I think this is my favorite T. Kingfisher so far. Um, I've only read maybe a handful. What Moves the Dead is a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. There is this individual called Alex, and Alex is a retired soldier, and they go to visit their childhood friend, Madeline Usher. Madeline is dying. Her brother, Roderick, is not well either. She's there with um, one of her servant or her friends, one of those. And then there's also a woman that she meets that uh, is a mushroom fungi uh, person, um, expert, and it is this crazy story about fungus controlling people, dead things moving, and a house that is very creepy, uh, and outdated ideas and things of that nature. And I just thought this one was written extremely well. I thought it was written better than Nettle and Bone. And where Nettle and Bone failed with the pacing, I think What Moves the Dead achieved what I wanted in Nettle and Bone. So I thought it was phenomenal, and I would highly recommend it to everybody. It was really good. There's actually a sequel. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. So those are the things that I read this last week. This coming week, as far as the novels I want to read, I have The Maid by Anita Prose. This is the Library Book Club book, and I want to read this because it's going to be something a little bit different than what I have been reading. It's a mystery, and I love these type of mysteries, so I'm looking forward to that. Probably going to start that first because I need to move away a little bit from the horror. But then after I read The Maid, I do have another horror book. This one is from Catriona. Ward, Tatiana Ward, and this one is called The Last House on Needless Street. I've heard amazing things about this book, and I hope it is good as what everyone says. And then the other thing I want to read is Ni Vo's Into the Riverlands. This is a novella that is a Hugo nominated novella. And I'm looking forward to this because I read one of these before and I really enjoyed it. So I'm excited about reading this one. Those are the three things that I hope to read probably at night. And then I want to read a lot of short stories. My goal is to make a schedule for my streams and post it right after this video. I hope to do a short story of the day stream in the morning, either at like 9 or 8 around there. And then later on, when I get home from work, doing a reading sprint stream at night, reading a lot of the things that I mentioned here. Okay. I going to be a little bit ambitious about this stuff and hopefully get some reading done. I need to figure out another audiobook as well to listen to. I do have the audiobook of Into the Riverlands, but it's only like 2.5 hours. So I would finish that really quickly. So yeah, those are my plans for this coming week. That's what I read this week. And that's all for me. I don't think anyone popped in tonight, but that's it for me for tonight. I will see everyone tomorrow during live streams where I will be reading. And if you want to read with me, that would be fantastic. If not, it's a great way for me to be accountable with my own reading. All right.